There is no electricity running to it, no generator humming in the background, no solar panels, no batteries, no cords of any kind. Just two clay pots, some sand, and water. And yet, if you reached inside right now, the vegetables would still be crisp, the tomatoes still firm, the carrots cool to the touch. How is that possible? This is not new technology. It is not a recent invention. It is not something that came out of a lab or a startup. People have known how to do this for centuries. The reason most of us have never heard of it has nothing to do with whether it works. It works. The reason we overlook it is because it is too simple, too cheap. There is nothing to sell, no product to ship, no subscription to sign up for. It is just physics and a little patience. You've already experienced this. You just never thought about it this way. Think about stepping out of a pool on a hot day. The moment the breeze hits your wet skin, you feel cold, sometimes almost shockingly cold, even when the air temperature is warm. Or think about a wet cloth draped over your arm. As the water evaporates, it pulls heat away from your skin. It does not just feel cool, it actually is cool. That process is called evaporative cooling, and it is one of the oldest cooling mechanisms in nature. When water turns from liquid into vapor, it needs energy to make that change. It pulls that energy from whatever is nearby. In the case of your skin, that energy is your body heat. In the case of this refrigerator, that energy is the heat inside the pot. The water steals the heat, and what's left behind is cold. Here's how you build one. You need two clay pots, one larger, one smaller. The smaller pot should fit inside the larger one with a few inches of space between them on all sides. Clay is important here. It has to be unglazed clay, the kind that is slightly porous, that breathes. Ceramic or glazed pots will not work. Step 1. Seal the bottom of the larger pot. You can use a small piece of clay or even a bit of wet sand pressed firmly into the drainage hole. You want to keep the sand layer moist, so you don't want water draining straight through. Step 2. Add a layer of sand to the bottom of the large pot, about an inch or two deep. Set the smaller pot on top of that sand, centered, so the gap between the two pots is as even as possible on all sides. Step 3. Fill that gap with sand. Pack it in firmly, but not so tight that you can't get water through it. You want the sand to be dense enough to hold moisture, not so compacted that it repels it. Step 4. Saturate the sand. Pour water slowly into the gap, letting it soak down through the sand evenly. You'll know the sand is saturated when it stops absorbing quickly and starts looking uniformly dark. Step 5. Place your food in the inner pot. Vegetables, fruit, herbs, whatever you're trying to keep fresh. Then cover the top with a wet cloth. A piece of burlap works well. A damp cotton cloth will do as well. The cloth adds another layer of evaporation right at the opening. That's the whole build. 2 pots, sand, water, cloth. The most common mistake is placing it in direct sunlight. It seems counterintuitive because you think more heat means more evaporation, which means more cooling, but what actually happens is that the direct sun heats the outer pot and the sand faster than the evaporation can compensate. The whole system gets overwhelmed and your food warms rather than cools. The second mistake is letting the sand dry out. This system does not run itself. You need to add water to the sand at least once a day, sometimes twice in very hot or very dry conditions. If the sand dries out, the evaporation stops, the cooling stops. The third mistake is blocking the airflow. This is perhaps the most overlooked factor. Evaporative cooling requires moving air. If you place the pot against a wall, inside a closed shed, or in a corner with no air circulation, the moisture that evaporates off the outer pot just hovers there, and the process slows dramatically.
The ideal location is shaded, breezy, and slightly elevated. Shaded means out of direct sun for the majority of the day. Under a tree, beneath a covered porch, inside an open structure with good ventilation. Breezy means somewhere air naturally moves. Even a gentle, consistent breeze makes a significant difference to how much water evaporates and how cold the inner pot gets. Slightly elevated means the pot is not sitting flat on the ground, where air cannot reach the sides. Setting it on a few bricks, a wooden pallet, or a simple raised platform allows air to move around all sides, not just across the top. In very dry climates, some people wrap the outer pot in an additional damp cloth. This adds one more surface of evaporation and can lower the internal temperature a few more degrees. In humid climates, the results are modest. You might keep food a day or two longer than you would otherwise. But in dry climates, the numbers become striking. Internal temperatures inside the pot can drop 15 to 20 degrees Celsius below the outside air temperature, sometimes more. Tomatoes that would spoil in 2 days sitting in open air can last up to 3 weeks in a well-maintained Zeer pot. Carrots, peppers, eggplant, leafy greens all stay viable significantly longer. It will not make your drinks ice cold, but it will make them noticeably cooler than the surrounding air, which in a hot climate without electricity is not a small thing. This system has a name. It is called a Zeer pot, from the Arabic word for jug. It has been used across West Africa, the Middle East, and South Asia for generations. In northern Nigeria, Mohammed Bah Abba spent years distributing Zeer pots to farming communities in the 1990s and early 2000s. Families who had no electricity and no way to preserve food saw their spoilage rates drop dramatically. Girls who had previously been kept home to sell perishable food at market were able to attend school instead because the food no longer had to be sold immediately before it went bad. In Sudan, in India, in regions across the Sahel, this is not a novelty or a survival experiment. It is a working tool that people rely on. The design has barely changed because it did not need to. A few practical notes worth keeping in mind. Use clean water when saturating the sand. Contaminated water sitting in warm sand can develop bacteria over time, and while the food in the inner pot should not be in direct contact with the sand, it is worth keeping the system clean. Rinse the inner pot periodically, wipe down the cloth cover regularly, and re-wet it with clean water. Do not store meat or dairy in a Zeer pot. The temperature reduction, while real, is not sufficient to safely store proteins for extended periods. This system is best suited for fresh vegetables, fruit, and herbs. There is something worth sitting with here. This knowledge has existed for centuries. It is not complicated. It does not require rare materials or specialized skills. Anyone, almost anywhere, can build one of these in an afternoon with materials that cost almost nothing. And yet, most of us in the modern world have never heard of it. That is worth reflecting on, not because electricity is bad or because modern refrigeration is not useful. Of course it is. But because when we build systems that depend entirely on one source of energy, we lose something in the process. We lose the knowledge of how to do without it. A Zeer pot does not replace a refrigerator, but it is a reminder that the world was not always as dependent as we have become, and that some of the most useful solutions are the ones nobody is trying to sell you. 2 pots, some sand, water, and the wind. That is enough.